All right, Bears fans, welcome back. Bear down. I'm going to be off this one. My voice needed to recover from today. Those who are with me on the live stream, thanks for tuning in. Truly appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. But who is to blame for the mess that the Bears are in right now? You see right there below the Bears, 4-7. We are basically mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. I say basically because one more loss should do it. Two would absolutely seal it up. The Packers made it in last year at 9-8. You need to be 10-7 or better. That means the Bears need to run the table and win the next 6 games out to make the playoffs. It's not likely to happen. But this was kind of a heartbreaker, but also a game where the Bears showed a lot of gump. They showed a lot of oomph, a lot of tenacity. So this was before the game on my preview video. Here's after the game. You see that last loss there. The Bears have now lost 5 in a row coming out of the bye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a fireable offense. Most coaches would be fired after that. And it's not like we couldn't have won some of those games. And I'm confident that in certain coaching situations, we could have won some of those games. Absolutely could have won some of those games. I feel like with a better coach, we could have won the Colts game, could have won the Commanders game, definitely could have won the Packers game, could have won the Vikings game. This situation could be a lot different, but there's a lot of fingers to point, a lot of blame to have. One thing we shouldn't blame it on is Thomas Brown. This was before the game graphic that the Bears Den Marquee Sports Network shared, and look at how much of a difference there was between Shade Waldron and Thomas Brown. Now, this is only one game against the Packers, so it's a limited sample size, but it's not like the Packers are scrubs. This is a good game to gauge him on, and he did better than maybe a lot weaker competition that Shane Waldron had. Well, how did we do in this last game? This is most recently, this is off Twitter. This is just another year in Chicago. Nick Rohde, a lot of people know who he is. Here is through the first 2 games, 394.5 yards per game, 43 first downs, 45.4% third down conversion, even better, 83% fourth down conversion, 46 points and 6 touchdowns under Thomas Brown. So clearly we're not having a problem in offense in the last couple of games. And Caleb Williams has openly said he feels more free. He feels more open. He can play command. He can do things. Now, there was a communication error in this last game that led to a little snafu. Didn't get the play call in properly, didn't understand it, and they weren't able to convert on that fourth down, so that was a little bit of an issue. But other than that, things seem to be going a lot better under Thomas Brown. Well, here was before the game, the Bears offense down here, 22nd, 29th, 22nd, 30th ranked in most categories. We didn't turn the ball over again, so we're continuing to do that well. But 27 points in this game. Yards per game, way up, 100 yards higher. So we're doing a lot better under Thomas Brown. Well, how's the defense doing? Well, here's the defense coming into the game, and there's the Vikings offense. And then here's after the game a lot of what you're seeing. This was the problem. It wasn't Caleb's ability to come back in this game. Caleb led this team on yet again another game-winning or game-tying comeback. This is multiple games in a row where Caleb has led us down the field as a true leader. So we'll have more on this tomorrow. This is just meant to be a quick video since earlier my throat was toast. But in fourth quarter and overtime today, Sam Darnold, 11 for 13, 166 passing yards. What happened to the Bears D in crunch time? And that's what everyone's asking. And then if you didn't see this, out in the parking lot for tailgating before the game. Now this, I can't confirm if this was really said, Fireflus and Jordan McCaskey. I know. Seemed like he was acknowledging fans without turning them down. But he was out there interacting with the fans, and that was good. But this is a different Jay, but this is on Twitter. This is a good point he brought out. 5-18 in one-score games, 0-17 on the road on Sunday, 3-18 on the road overall, 2-11 versus NFC North. That, more than anything, is damning. 2-11 versus our division in his time here for the Bears. This is Matt Eberflus' record as the Bears. And now I gave him a pass like most people did in 2022 because we were stripping it down. We were rebuilding. Coming back, there was a lot of comparisons between Matt Eberflus and Dan Campbell and how they took their teams out of the gutter, built it up on a good run at the end of the year, and then the third year they take over and dominate the division. That didn't happen for the Bears. We're 4-7 right now. 4-7 in a situation where we could easily be 7-4, possibly even better. But with a couple of these key wins that we could have had here, this team could have flipped the script on all of this and been 7-4 right now instead of 4-7. So it's time to start acknowledging that maybe the Tampa 2 is outdated and maybe Matt Eberflus doesn't know what he's doing. For a lot of the year, you guys and a lot of people have blamed it on this offensive line. Look at this offensive line in this game. This offensive line was absolutely dominant. They did a great job today. The only time Caleb got sacked in that overtime was when he held onto the ball way too long, and he acknowledged in the press conference, this is a rookie thing. Should have got rid of the ball. Didn't. It's on him. He acknowledges it. So this line did great, though. 1 sack allowed. The other sacks were on Caleb. Only 5 pressures overall. Now, these are rough PFF during game stats, so these aren't completely accurate. Don't hold firm to these. I'll have my grades video out tomorrow like I always do. But all of these guys, look at all of these grades, 80s, 80s, 70s, 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 70s. All these are great grades for this offensive line. And if you watch the game, these big boys held up. They did an awesome job for Caleb. They helped him have a great game. Well, was it Caleb then? Well, here's Caleb. Probably one of the best two games he's had. Some people are already saying it's the best game he's ever had. I put it up there. His efficiency in the one game where he was best in the entire league for that week is probably his best game. But 32 completions on 47 attempts, 68% completion percentage, but his adjusted completion percentage 77.8, which is huge to me. There were 3 drops, but 5 big-time throws. And there were some big-time throws in those big-time throws. One where he was doing a jump pass, both feet in the air, down the sideline. I thought he was throwing it away. If you watched it live with me, you guys know how excited I was about seeing what Caleb was doing. It was very special. Overall grades very high. Very, very high. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 103.1 NFL pass rating. And when you look at his spray chart, this whole thing looks really good. In fact, there's one that I think Keenan Allen should have been credited for, and the refs took that away from us. There's a couple here. Even the one to Rome Odunze right here in the middle should have been, or maybe that was this one over here. Depends on where we were on the field. But either way, Rome should have had a PI, and that shouldn't have counted as an incomplete pass. But Caleb had a really good game. So this was not on Caleb by any means. For the most of the game, the pressure, the pass rush was not very good. Now, at the end of the game, these guys came along. Now, I understand this is small. I apologize, but these are all the pass rushers. Not all these are defensive ends, defensive tackles. You see these are linebackers, Jack Sanborn, TJ Edwards. They had, obviously, your linebackers, when they're blitzing, you're going to have higher pressure rates. But Jacob Martin, 12.5. I love seeing that. That's a really good pressure rate, so I like to see him get some more reps. He did have a sack in the game. Jervon Dexter was in a lot of the game. His pass rush and his run defense was really solid. I'll have his grades out tomorrow. Really good there, so 8.1. DeMarcus Walker was in on a lot of the game, too, in a lot of pressures. He got that sack as well. Montez Sweat got the sack at the very end of the game that helped keep them back, allowed us to come back in this game. I mean, overall, this game was very exciting, obviously, but some of these guys, Darrell Taylor, Austin Booker, Zach Pickens, Chris Williams, just not pulling their weight in this game whatsoever. And then coverage more than anything. You say Jalen Johnson down here almost cut off on the screen. The worst coverage game in this game. 39.1, and it wasn't good. Multiple penalties on him. He was out of position. Tyree Stevenson was out of position several times. His grade looks better than it really is. Kevin Byard was out of position a couple times. The Tampa 2 was not working against the Vikings. It was not working, and I think this is the nail in the coffin for Matt Eberflus, because until now, you could defend his defense and say they're keeping us in every game. Well, the offense won this game for us. The offense absolutely was the winner of this game, and the defense was the reason we lost this game. The defense didn't pull their weight in the fourth quarter, in overtime, and it came down to that overtime that we didn't move the ball on offense. We got the ball first, punted it. You have to rely on the defense, and the defense allowed them to march down. Every time I got a little bit of hope, big, wide-open reception down the field, 20 yards, third down, fourth down. They would get receptions, and they just moved it, marched it, and they ended up winning the game. So this is an open forum question. Who's to blame for this one? You guys tell me. I say it's square on the head of Matt Eberflus. This is 100% Matt Eberflus in this loss. The offense pulled their weight. Caleb Williams pulled his weight. Most of the offensive players looked really good. Weren't any egregious play calling problems like there have been in other games. But the fact that he didn't have his defense ready to really stack up against this Vikings potent offense, that the Tampa 2, that zone coverage defense wasn't cutting it and they didn't switch it up. Matt Eberflus has probably got too much on his plate to handle as a head coach. I don't think it does us any good to hold off any longer on firing him. I think he needs to go. Let me know what you guys think. Till next time. Till tomorrow. Till the grades come out. Bear down.